studying about the anatomy of the plant. Anatomy means the study of internal structure. So whatever the internal structures are present in the plant, that we will focus on. So if you see the section of the plant, you will find a group of similar dissimilar cells. You know that group of dissimilar similar cells are known as tissues, right? So these tissues perform common function. So here you can see this outer layer, you will see that this is the epidermis, and these are made up of many cells, and if they are made up of many cells, they are performing the common function, then we call it a tissue. Okay, so here we will focus on the meristematic tissue, and this is the classification of the tissues in plants. On the broad ways, the plant tissues are divided into two, meristematic and the permanent. So meristematic tissues have the capacity to divide throughout their life, and these meristematic tissue that differentiate to give rise to permanent tissue, and these permanent tissue, as they mature, they lost the power of the cell division. So meristematic tissue we will focus here, and the permanent tissue are again divided into two, simple and the complex. Simple tissues are made up of same type of tissues. If you see their structure, you will see that they are made up of same type of cells, whereas the complex tissues are made up of different types of cells. So if you see the xylem, you will see that they are xylem vessels, xylem trachea, xylem parenchyma. So they are made up of many cells. Okay, but in the simple, they are divided into three: parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. If you see their structure, if you see the parenchyma cells, they look similar in shape or size. So that's why they are known as the simple tissues, and xylem and phloem are known as the complex tissues. Okay. Now let's see the characteristics of meristematic cell. So this meristem word is derived from the meristose. Meristose means the cell which continuously divides. Okay, so means divisible. They divide throughout their life. So from here this word meristem derived. Okay, so meristemic tissue is a group of cells that has power of continuous division, and the meristematic tissue is commonly called as meristems. If you see the shape of the cell, each cell looks like oval in shape, rounded, polygonal or rectangular. Intercellular spaces are absent in this case. Cell wall is very thin and made up of cellulose. Nucleus is very large and prominent because these cells have to divide and form other cells. That's why the nucleus is quite large and prominent. Cell division, high capacity is there because these cells continuously divide, so cell division has a high capacity. Metabolic activity also very high. Okay, so these are the characteristics of the meristematic cell. Now here we will see the division, types of meristematic tissue. So based on the origin, on the basis of position, and on the basis of function. So on the basis of origin, the meristematic tissues are divided into three: promeristem, primary meristem, and secondary meristem. Okay, on the basis of position, where they are positioned on the top or in the mid, they are divided into three again: apical, intercalary, and the lateral. And on the basis of function, they are divided into protoderm, procambium, and ground meristem. Okay, so this you have to learn. On the basis of origin, they are divided into promeristem, primary, and secondary. On the basis of position, they are divided into apical, intercalary, and lateral. And on the basis of the function, they are divided into protoderm, procambium, and ground meristem. Okay, so let's see on the basis of origin. So on the basis of origin, promeristem, primary and secondary. So promeristem origin is embryonic origin. You have seen a seed, when it germinates, it gives rise to a radicle and the plumule. Okay, so this plumule will make the shoot, and radicle will make the root. So plumule contains this promeristem. So it is the embryonic origin. Okay, it is the earliest and the youngest meristematic tissue, and it is present in the extreme growing root and the shoot tip. Okay, on the tip of the root, extreme tip of the root, and on the shoot, the promeristem are present. It gives rise to primary meristem. So from the promeristem, primary meristems are formed, and from the primary meristem, secondary meristems are formed. So primary meristem origin is from promeristem, secondary meristem origin is from primary meristem. Here the cells are always active and dividing, and present below promeristem. So promeristem is on the top. Then we have this primary meristem in the shoot and the root tip, and also in the intercalary position. As I told you, according to the position, there are three: apical, intercalary and lateral. So here in the intercalary position also some primary meristems are present. So it gives rise to secondary meristem, already I told you. Then and primary permanent tissue like the first form xylem, first form phloem, sclerenchyma, parenchyma. So these first form cells are formed from the primary meristem. Secondary meristem depend, or we can say it develop later in the life, in the mature plant, when the plants become mature and it becomes woody. Okay, in the young you will see the primary, or in the in the radicle or plumule you will see the promeristem. Then when the plants matures, we will see secondary meristem. So here some of the cells of meristematic tissue divide and form secondary permanent tissue. So these cells are formed whenever they are needed. For example, cork cambium and the vesicular cambium. So they are formed later in the lives of the plant. So this is on the basis of the origin. Then on the basis of the position, there are three: apical, intercalary and lateral. Apical means on the apex, on the top part, tip of the root and tip of the shoot. So here you will see on the tip of the stem, you will see the apical meristem. So these apical meristem have the capacity to grow the plant or increase the length of the plant. They increase the length because they divide, they enlarge, not divide, they enlarge lengthwise and increase the height of the plant. Same as of the intercalary, they also divide lengthwise because they are formed from the apical meristem only. Intercalary meristem are formed from the apical meristem only. In between the permanent tissues, some of the apical meristems left behind, and they give rise to intercalary meristem. So these intercalary meristem are derived from the apical meristem only, so they also help to increase the height of the plant. Okay, then we have lateral meristem. Lateral meristem increases the girth of the plant, or we can say the diameter of the plant. So these meristem, the lateral meristems, are secondary meristem because they increase the girth of the plant, and the girth increases only when the plant matures. So these are the secondary type of meristem, whereas apical and intercalary are the primary type of meristem. Okay, clear? So next, lateral meristem give rise to vesicular cambium and cork cambium, right? And in intercalary, you have seen that when the animals graze, or the upper layer of the grass, you will see after few days it will again regenerate. So that is because of the intercalary meristem. Okay, they are very active cells and they give rise to more cells, and that's why the grasses increase in size. So they are commonly present in monocots grasses. So it increases the height of the plant. Okay, now apical meristem contains two zones: promeristem, okay, that are present on the tip, and meristematic zone. Here it contains protoderm, procambium and ground meristem. This we will learn according on the basis of function. So on the basis of function, we have protoderm, procambium and ground meristem. Now what they form, that we will learn. Let's see here. Protoderm, it gives rise to the epidermal layer. It is the outermost meristematic tissue. Procambium makes the vascular tissue. They are the xylem and the phloem, and they help in the transport of water and nutrition. And the ground meristem, they form the cortical region from the hypodermis till the endodermis. So if you see the stem region, you will see from the hypodermis till the epidermis, you will see the ground meristem. Okay, they are composed of parenchyma, collenchyma or sclerenchyma cells. Now see this diagram. So as I told you, the promeristem which is present in the tip, so this is the embryonic meristem, and on the basis of function there are protoderm, ground meristem and procambium. You will see as the plant mature, this protoderm will make the epidermis, ground meristem will make the cortex region, and the procambium will make the xylem and the phloem. Okay, secondary xylem and secondary phloem will form later in the life. They are the secondary growth. Here you can again see the three primary meristem. Three primary meristem are protoderm, ground and procambium. So this protoderm will form the epidermis. This is the epidermis layer, and this is the pith region which contains cortex and other cells. Then we have this vascular region which contains the primary xylem and the primary phloem, and also the vascular cambium is there in the center. So this is the section of the upper part, and this is the section of the mid part of the plant, right? So here are some theories of shoot apical meristems, and they are given by some scientists. One theory is the apical cell theory. Here you will see on the tip there is only one cell. According to this theory, which is given by Nageli in 1858, he said that apical cell theory, in this there is only one cell at the apex, and which give rise to other cells. In the histogen theory, you will see that there are three layers on the top: dermatogen, peribellum, and the perome. So these are the three layers according to histogen theory, which give rise to other cells. In the tunica corpus theory, there are two layers. Upper layer is the tunica, then below it there is a corpus layer. This theory is given by Schmidt in 1924. Okay, then we have mantle core concept theory. This theory is also similar to the tunica corpus theory, and the region is different. Mantle and core. Tunica is known as mantle and corpus is known as the core here, and this is given by Fofani and Chen in 1950. So these are some of the theories given by the scientists related to the shoot apical meristem. Now at the root tip you will see there is a quiescent zone. This zone, so this is the center in the root tip, and this is inactive zone. Here low concentration of DNA, RNA, proteins are there. So this is the inactive region, which is known as the quiescent zone, and this concept is given by Close in 1956. And at the initial of the root cap, here you will see a layer of cells which is known as the calyptrogen. So this calyptrogen, it is said that this calyptrogen layer give rise to this quiescent zone. This calyptrogen layer give rise to the root cap. Okay, on the tip of the root you will see a root cap. This root cap is formed by this layer. These cells known as the calyptrogen. Okay, and you know that root tip is derived from the radical part. Okay, and root tip is protected by root cap. Root cap is formed from the calyptrogen cells, and in the center you will see one region or one zone that is known as the quiescent zone. Here the cells are inactive. They contain low concentration of DNA, RNA, and proteins. This quiescent center acts as a reservoir of cells and become active whenever they are needed, or whenever the other cells becomes damaged due to some problems. So okay, this is about root tip. Here you will see this is the secondary growth, and this is the cork cambium. Phloem is known as the cork cambium. This gives rise to outer layer called the phloem, cork, which is also known as cork, and inner layer called the phloem. And these together three are known as the periderm. Okay, later epidermis differentiate to give rise to this layer that is known as periderm, which contains three regions: phloem, phloem, and the phloem. Phloem is the cork cambium, phloem is the cork layer, and the phloem is the inner layer to the cork cambium. So this is the secondary growth in the plant that we will discuss in our next lesson.